So I absolutely adore Monster Hunter Wilds, guys. It's so good, man. I've been playing the beta weekend number 2, and it is really, really, really good. It's just absolute blast. This video is going to be sort of, I guess, focusing on my thoughts and impressions with Monster Hunter Wilds so far. And honestly, I just kind of wanted an excuse to post this gameplay. It's not like it's crazy gameplay or anything like that. I mean, maybe it is. I don't think it is, though. Maybe some people will think it's somehow extraordinary, but it's not that it's necessarily crazy, but it's ARKVELD. It's the flagship monster. What that means is the monster on the box art, basically. And for those who are maybe new to Monster Hunter, you might be wondering, well, does that mean that, like, the final monster, the biggest monster, is in the beta? No, that's not what it means at all. For example, Monster Hunter Rise, the flagship monster was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong for those who did play Monster Hunter Rise as well, but I think the flagship monster was maybe like halfway through the main story. It's like there's way bigger monsters usually to come after that. So yeah, it's not really like a spoiler or anything like that. You're not fighting the hardest monster in the game in the beta. But it is a harder monster for sure. It's usually further on in the story. At least halfway through the story, if I remember correctly. Maybe like 2/3 through the story, give or take. But it's a crazy monster, and this monster is just relentless. I mean, the attacks it does, lots of electricity, lots of like these kind of like swinging of the tail, and there's like these things coming off its wings or whatever that it kind of whips at you full of electricity. It's wild, man. It's wild, pun intended. But I wanted to share my thoughts and impressions because I missed out on beta weekend number 1 because I downloaded it, then I got busy with some other stuff. I can't remember exactly what happened, but anyways. And I've just been adoring this game, man. It's so freaking fun, man. I mean, it's Monster Hunter, right? So if you enjoy Monster Hunter, you know the gist of it. But the monsters are great, man. I've beaten every single monster in beta weekend number 2. We have 6 monsters total. And of course, there's a bunch of little smaller monsters, kind of roaming but those don't count. I mean, you whack them maybe like 3 or 4 times and they're dead, right? But there's 6 monsters, and I mean, it's great. It's great. There's a couple tough monsters. I mean, obviously the one you guys are seeing up on screen, ARKVELD or whatever, is the tougher one. I'm just looking at the list right here. But there's another one, Ray Dow, I believe is how you pronounce it. I don't know. It's another dragon. That one is also like rated like a 5-star difficulty, whatever. I don't think it's as hard as ARKVELD. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing their names right. I apologize if I'm not. But it's tricky. It's a tricky one. Now, in terms of like the gameplay, I'm using the longsword. I'm the kind of person that once I get comfortable with something, I have a hard time breaking out of that, comfortability or I don't know, whatever the word is, because I just want to I just want to play with what I know. And with Monster Hunter Rise, I mained the longsword. I got really used to the longsword, and I just like the longsword now. I like the way, you can do all these different moves and the kind of, finishers and whatever, You're going to see me use it a lot of times where I fill up the gauge with, I turn the gauge into a red bar, and then I kind of do this move where you kind of like lunge forward, and then you kind of jump up into the sky, you slash down, and then you do this whole other kind of slashy thing. It makes you feel like a samurai or something, you know what I mean? With like a really, really big samurai sword. But I don't know. I just like the move sets. I know it the best. But yeah, I probably should try some other weapons. But anyways, in terms of like my personal history with Monster Hunter, I actually don't have a massive history with Monster Hunter. Rise was the first one that I played beginning to end. Before that, I played a little bit of Monster Hunter 4 on the 3DS. Super casually, not too crazy, and only because I got a bunch of Club Nintendo points, if you guys remember that, back in the day, for free, and so I got Monster Hunter 4 for free off of Club Nintendo, and so I played all of Rise on my Nintendo, on my Nintendo channel. There's a whole playlist if you guys want to see that. You can check it out on the Nintendo channel, which is linked down in the description below. And I did that as a video series, but in terms of my plans for content for Monster Hunter Wild, I mean, you guys definitely give me some feedback down in the comment section below, what you guys think. But, hopefully there's some of you that would like to see content, first and foremost. But I was thinking about just streaming it. I think it's a game that probably would be just more fun just streaming it here on YouTube, maybe multi-streamed on other platforms, but primarily here on YouTube. And then maybe some like one-off videos here and there, and whatnot, and then of course you know, reviewing the game once we actually get through the game. But yeah, I think that would be probably the most makes the most sense in my mind, but you guys can let me know in the comments below. Again, I did a video series of Rise on my Nintendo channel. It was like 50 parts with the DLC, of course. What was it? Was it called Sunbreak? I think it was. Great DLC. Anyways, yeah. So, I mean, this game is just great. It's a lot of fun. Coming from Rise on the Nintendos, and listen, I know Rise came out on PC and whatnot later on and other platforms, but you know, at launch for like the first, year or something, or 6 months, I don't know how long it was exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. And so going from that, and then to this, and okay, I said I didn't play any other Monster Hunters. I played like 5 hours maybe of Monster Hunter World. That was after Rise, because I was like, oh man, I want some more Monster Hunter, and then I just ended up getting distracted with other games. So I never got to finish it. But yeah, anyways, I played a little bit of World, but Wilds, man, it looks so good. It looks good. It plays pretty good. Now, obviously, the frame rate, you know, some people are going to say, well, the frame rate's not great, you know, and whatnot. True to an extent, if you're on console, by the way. If you're on PC, I mean, obviously, it's, you know, whatever is, you know, whatever your PC can do. But for the sake of content, because I don't have a 2 PC setup, I just record everything on console. Now, on console, I did try fidelity mode, and I also tried performance mode. On performance mode, the graphics just look so bad. I don't like it. Like, most games you can get away with doing it, but it's just like everything gets really dumbed down. The textures get like mushy and blurry, and I hate it. So I rather just, and I don't think you're gonna get, I think like you might push like 40 to 50 FPS. I don't know for sure, by the way. I'm not giving hard numbers. It's just my guess from like playing a little bit with both modes. My guess is like 40, maybe 50 FPS in performance, or sorry, fidelity mode, or sorry, yeah, no, performance mode. 40 to 50 in performance mode, and then in fidelity mode, probably closer to 30. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, probably around 30. You know, do I wish it was a buttery 60? Yeah, but I mean, I'm so used to it from Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch anyways. And, you know, I mean, the Switch, you know, at some points, the Switch kind of chugged with Monster Hunter Rise a little bit, you know. I had a little bit hard time keeping up in some big kind of moments. So I'm kind of used to that anyways now. So for me, it doesn't bug me too much. So, but for other people, maybe it'll bug you. I don't know, but I think it's okay. And I think the game on fidelity mode looks better anyways. It looks really nice, and I just prefer that. But you guys let me know what you think. What is your preference between the two, if you've had the chance to try both? Yeah, in terms of like the monster stuff, I mean, really great fighting. The one thing I found myself missing was the wire bugs from Rise. One of my buddies, Frank, that I played all of Rise with, he was saying the same thing. You know, we got used to the mechanics of one game, and then there's slightly different mechanics. You do have like a grappling hook and whatnot that you can like pull down boulders and stuff. If there's like sometimes monsters will kind of like, they'll be hanging in an area and there's like kind of like rock formations above, and there's sometimes boulders hanging down. You could drop it on the monster, and that does extra damage and whatnot as well. So that's a cool mechanic. But yeah, in terms of the game, it works well. The area that we have to explore is nice. Obviously, you know, there should be other maps and other areas. That's typically how Monster Hunter works. You have various different maps, and each map has different monsters that you can find in those areas. So, you know, we're only seeing a little bit of what Monster Hunter Wilds has to offer in terms of the world, in terms of the monsters. But what we've seen, and even the story, by the way, the story, it lets you play the first chapter of the story, and I think that the characters are very interesting. They're very intriguing. I think they like right out of the gate, you're kind of interested in the characters right away. So I think that I think the story should be interesting, and I definitely, you know, am very intrigued to see how the story is going to play out. So that's another big thing that I kind of almost forgot about, just because once you do the story in the beta, you're done chapter 1, and it's like there's no more story, so you're just kind of hunting. So, you know, I've just been hunting, and that's kind of been my primary focus. But yeah, in terms of like just, you know, grouping up and stuff, a little confusing at first how to get people in your party, especially through crossplay and whatnot. Once you understand how to do it, it's easy. I mean, you can open up like the kind of invite list or the member list, and you can just kind of, you can make a lobby, and you can just tell other people the lobby code, and they can search the lobby by the code and request to join, or just join automatically if there's no password. So, I mean, there's that, but it is a little confusing getting into like parties and stuff and doing quests together at first. And even once you figure it out, you still kind of at times are scratching your head. You're like, huh, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here right now, and how to get this done. So that's one of the gripes I have. That's probably my biggest complaint about Monster Hunter Wilds so far. Is just it's just not very intuitive to get into a party with other people. I would like to see it a little more easy to do. I don't know if they can really change anything for the full release, but it's kind of confusing as of right now with beta weekend number 2. Again, I'm recording this on the 9th of February. You might see it the day of recording. I might post it the next day of or whatever, you know, once the beta's down and everybody's just kind of fiending for some Monster Hunter, you know. But we are going to be getting a second weekend as well this following weekend. And then, of course, on the 28th of February, we're going to be getting the full release, which is going to be really exciting. So, yeah, I mean, I don't, in terms of comparing it to other games, I mean, like I said, I only have really Rise that I played a bunch that I can really kind of compare it to, which is the most previous Monster Hunter game. But, you know, for someone who is, you know, new-ish, like I'm not brand new to this series with Wilds, you know, I have a little bit of experience now, but I'm still relatively new compared to people that have been around, you know, since the beginning, let's say, or for who knows how long. You know, for someone in my position, I mean, I'm having a time of my life, man. I'm just like, dude, this is great. And everybody I see posting online, you know, everybody I see, you know, talking about it, whether new, whether old, you know, everybody seems to be enjoying it. Again, I'd love to hear your guys' feedback down in the comment section below. But like I said, once you kind of get into the rhythm of how a certain weapon works as well, once you can go into the training grounds, that's what I did, just to kind of, you know, re-familiarize myself. Because at first, if you go watch my first time playing Monster Hunter Wilds, you're going to see that I was pretty sloppy because I hadn't played Rise in a while now. Since I finished the DLC, I didn't go back to it. You know, again, I get distracted sometimes with other games. But you know, so I had to get back in the swing of things. But once I started getting going, man, I'm like, okay, this feels good now. I feel like I know what I'm doing. And then I think that's when you really start to especially appreciate and enjoy the game, once you really start figuring out, okay, what are these different combos I can do? How can I, you know, do more damage? There's also the different items, which I was still kind of trying to figure out all of what to do. I mean, there's the you know, you can flash the enemy, of course. You can trap the enemy, which is huge because that gives you a little bit of time. Not a ton of time, like what, 10-15 seconds maybe, to do some attacks on the enemy without them kind of swinging their freakishly, you know, big tails around or whatever their kind of thing is, right? Every monster is different, right? Like there's one monster in the beta that it's an older monster, you know, does a lot of poison, and that monster actually also flashes you. It poisons you and it flashes you. And it's super freaking annoying. It's not even a hard monster. It's just a really annoying monster. So when you know you get poisoned, you want to use antidotes, things like that. So you know, there's a lot of different, you know, items to kind of choose from. I'm going to be curious. Also, in this gameplay, I did die once. I fainted once. I think I was like, I had an open lobby, I think. I think other people had joined at some point. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, so I fainted once. I almost went the whole thing without fainting, but hey, what can you do, right? We're not all perfect. We're not all perfect monster hunters. But yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, I think my biggest thing about the beta is just like, you know, hunting monsters is like, you know, there's no incentive to really keep doing it except just trying out the game. Because obviously, you know, you're not going to be able to, you know, craft new weapons and armor. But that's kind of the thing, you know, once you start, it's the reward system in the beta, for those of you guys who are new, you know, you might not feel as rewarded. You might feel rewarded because, yo, I conquered this monster. But part of it too is like, okay, conquered this monster, now I got materials, and now I can maybe craft a new weapon with those materials, or a new piece of armor. And then you might see like, oh shoot, I don't have quite enough material. I gotta go fight this monster again, and I gotta farm it a couple times to get enough, you know, of, you know, this item. Or some items are kind of more rare, like the monster jewels sometimes drop more rare, and so you might be like, you might just have to farm until that thing drops. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's RNG. So that's kind of the pull of these games, you know. And there's something addicting about hunting these monsters, and so satisfying, right? Yeah, there's no health bar, but you kind of look at the monster as you're seeing my gameplay. Actually, you can see this monster get kind of slow, right? The monster's starting to slow down a little bit. It's hurting. You can kind of tell as you're progressing. This monster's hurting, and you know, that's kind of how you can tell that you're getting close to the end and whatnot. So, I mean, I don't know. Listen, in terms of first thoughts, first impressions, I think this game is an absolute blast. If you've never played Monster Hunter, try the beta. By the time you see this video, there's only one more beta this following weekend. And then, of course, the full game, which is going to be on the 28th, which I'm excited for. But, yeah, there's only going to be one more beta. And so, try it. A beta's free. You don't have to pre-order the game or anything. You just play the beta, you try it out, and yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve to it. I'll be honest, that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't stick with Monster Hunter 4 when I originally played it on the 3DS. I had no idea how to play the game. But also, I'm just trying to also, in this video, briefly mention some, you know, super kind of basic stuff as well for anyone who may also be new and they're like, how do you do this? If you have any comments, leave them down in the comment section below as well. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, like I said, the gist of it is pretty much a lot of what I've said throughout this video. You know, there's more depth to it, of course, but like any game. But I think if you get those basics, those fundamentals, you should be pretty much good to go. And again, it's just one of those games that's really satisfying. You know, you have to kind of learn like the move sets of these new monsters. You know, what are the things that they're going to be kind of doing, and how do you counter that? And how do you react to that? And you know, what are the monster's weak points? Weak points, by the way, is another thing where you can focus, and there's like these weak points you can kind of focus on, excuse me, slashing and hacking and attacking. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that was in a previous Monster Hunter game. It wasn't in Rise. I know it was not in Rise. I don't think it was in World, from what I recall playing a little bit of World. And like I said, I didn't play a ton of 4. I don't remember a lot of 4, to be honest. From what I remember, I don't remember that mechanic either. But yeah, I don't know. Again, if you have any questions about this game, I'm not, you know, super like I said, I'm not super well versed in this game. But if I can help, you know, beginners at least get the fundamentals, you know, I would love to do that the best I can. And hopefully I've done that a little bit in this video. And for anyone who's a veteran, maybe you're wondering, you know, what someone else's thoughts and impressions were. That's kind of the focus of this video. In terms of this boss fight, I loved it. It was a great boss fight. I slayed it. The monster fell. I carved its guts. I don't get to keep the guts, but, you know, when the full game comes out, I'll get to keep the guts. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about Monster Hunter Wilds? Like I said, I'm looking forward to playing it when the full release on the 28th. And let me know, let me know if you guys want to see it live streamed, video format, a little bit of both, maybe some one-off videos and mostly live streamed. But I think we're going to stream it here on the channel, and I can't wait. It's going to be a blast, man. Try the beta next week, and if you haven't played the beta, play the beta. And if you have played the beta, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Till the next one, my friends. Game on. Thanks for watching. Hey you! What are you doing? Join the Skeleton Army! Do it today! Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow might never come. The Earth is gonna fade, that's inevitable. The next second of your life's not even promised, so you better think about where you're going, and you might as well just join the Skeleton Army. Plus, we do kind of like you a little bit, so it'd be nice to see you around here. But if you don't want to, hey, your loss. See you later.